Welcome back, everybody. Today is Tuesday, April 14th, 2020. I hope everybody had a great spring break and a nice 5 days off from school and are ready to get back at it again today. So today's kind of a nice day that we're sort of starting fresh. The fourth marking period has officially begun, and we are also officially starting our next unit, which is oceanography. So let's take a look at what activities we're doing today to introduce this. Okay, so today's agenda, just like usual, answer the daily attendance question. Now, you may have noticed in Google Classroom, I have posted several days worth of activities and videos and things like that. This was mostly because of the feedback I received from you guys that many of you wanted to be able to work ahead if you had some free time. So, especially now that I had time to work on an over break, I was able to release all of the assignments for the whole week. Sometimes it might just be 2 days, sometimes it might be 3 days, but I'll try to update them as soon as possible and get things uploaded. So, if you want to work ahead, you can. And the reason why I mention that now is because even if you work ahead, you still have to come into the classroom every day to take that daily attendance question. So even if the only thing you do that day is to mark that attendance question, please make sure that you do that. And then, of course, after you answer the question, you want to watch the video, which you're doing right now. And then today's activities, there are two, as kind of an introduction to the meat of oceanography. We are going to look at a little mapping activity. You can see my background goes along with this today. Where you're going to take a look at the major bodies of water around the planet and get familiar with their names and their locations. And then you're also going to watch an Edpuzzle today, a short one on, it's called The Origin of the Oceans, or basically where we think the ocean water came from. This is an introduction. You're going to be doing a big activity with this tomorrow that will count for a grade, so pay attention closely when you watch this Edpuzzle. And then for homework, this is actually going to be pretty typical for the next couple of days, is I'm going to be asking you to look at parts of the notes in Google Classroom that kind of correspond with the things that we're learning about. What I'm going to ask you guys to do today is you're going to be looking at the oceanography notes that review what we did before break, which was El Nino and La Nina. I just want you to see the notes, skim through them real quick. Remember, at the bottom of the notes, there are questions for you guys to fill out as you read, so don't forget to do that. So it's just 1 through 14 that I want you to look at today. Okay, so with that being said, let's talk about a few things. So first off, I'm actually going to get out of here, and I want to show you guys a few things set up in Google Classroom today, just so you know where things are located for oceanography. So when you open up the classroom page, you've got your post for week 3, which is this week. You guys will see a lot more posts in there than just what I'm showing you right now. But the big thing I want you to take a look at and don't forget about is I did put a document in here for the weekly plan. I also sent this out to your parents via Skyward, and you may have seen the email in Skyward as well. And this gives you the plan of what you need to have done, what the lessons are about, what activities need to be turned in, all that kind of good stuff. So please make sure you use this if it helps. It's there for you guys to see sort of the overlook for just 1 week at a time. Okay. The other thing I want you guys to take a look at, you've got your attendance stuff. And then I made a topic in here called oceanography. And this is where I'm going to put like any resources that you might need for oceanography. So for example, the 2 chapters of the textbook are in here. So if you need to reference them, they are there. And then the oceanography notes are in here. And let me just open these up because this is what I was talking about with your homework a few moments ago. We've got this fancy ocean background here. Hey, so this is the notes for the entire chapter. So it seems lengthy, and it is, but it's because it's for the whole entire unit is posted. And just like usual, this is like what we were doing with notes before everything happened and we're no longer in regular school anymore. But you can see at the bottom on some of the slides, not all of them, there are some questions. So make sure that you go in and you type your responses in that spot down there. Okay, so whenever it asks you to read the notes, make sure you also answer those questions. Okay, so that's kind of just the layout of a few things I wanted you to see in classroom. Now let's talk about the activities you are doing today. Okay, so let's get back in here. So the first one, I feel like is a good jumping off for oceanography is I want you guys to be familiar with the major bodies of water around the planet. So you're going to it's kind of a little mapping activity. You're going to have a map of the ocean. You'll see it posted in classroom. And the oceans and major bodies of water are numbered. The chart is to the right hand side, and you're just going to put the names. And all you need to do is really look it up online. Some of them, hopefully, you know what they are, like the Atlantic, the Pacific, the Indian Ocean. Some of them you might have to look up. Maybe you've never heard of the Barents Sea before, or maybe you don't know where the Red Sea is. So those ones, make sure that you look it up, and then you will need to turn this in when you are done. So make sure when you are finished with this that you click the turn in button so you get credit for your work. Okay. The next assignment, once you've done that, is to take a look at where all this glorious water came from, and that is in an Edpuzzle. Okay, so it's posted in there in Google Classroom. It says Origin of the Oceans Edpuzzle, so it should be easy to find. Remember, in Edpuzzle, you can rewatch a segment as many times as you want to. This is a very short video. It's just shy of 4 minutes, so it should be a quick one for you guys to watch. Just meant to be an introduction. This is an introduction to a topic that we are going to do a graded assignment on tomorrow. So take your time, listen carefully. If you have questions, make sure you ask. I also posted something in Google Classroom called the Origin of the Oceans Organizer. And let me actually show you what this looks like. It's posted in there, and this is actually an optional activity. You can work on this a little bit while you're watching the video, but this is just a place to sort of organize some notes on the two leading theories on how the oceans formed. Since they formed about 4 billion years ago, we are not 100% sure how they actually formed. We have a pretty good guess, but there's still a debate. And you guys are going to see all about that in the video today. You are going to be actually writing an essay tomorrow, expressing your opinion as to which of these theories you believe is most plausible. And this is kind of a good place to record your notes, gather some information. You can see I've attached or sort of added to this document the clips from this textbook that match these two theories. So that's there. Again, this is optional. It's just to help you if you need it. If you feel like you don't need it, then skip it. Okay, so this is not something I'm collecting or that you have to turn in. This is just optional. And again, I'll probably mention this in tomorrow's video as well. Okay, so again, for today, you're going to work on this mapping activity of the great bodies of the water, name them, turn it in, and then you're going to watch the Edpuzzle as a little introduction, and then you're going to read a few of the note slide as review for homework and call it a day. Okay? And just remember, anytime you have questions, you have a couple places you can ask. And a lot of you guys have been very good about asking for help if you need it. You can always email me. Remember, the Padlet site is still there. It's still up and running. So don't forget about that. It's under the online resources. Posting in Google Classroom. You can also send me a private message right through Google Classroom or on the document that you're making. There's a lot of different ways to ask for help. So if you get confused on anything, please let me know. I will be answering your questions as quickly as I possibly can. So just don't forget, if you're struggling, don't suffer in silence. Make sure you reach out, ask for help from me or from a friend, anybody who can get you some help. That way we can get through this together. Okay. I hope everybody has a great day, and I will see you all in class tomorrow.